Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo, and today is March 5th, not February. I made that mistake yesterday. But yeah, we are in March, and it's Wednesday. We've got 8 games for today. Some exciting matchups. It's getting to be that fun time of year. A lot of teams fighting for their chance to get into the play-in, like my Suns with that amazing comeback last night. And the Blazers have an important game tonight, who have been playing great ball over the last month. And so, yeah, just an exciting time. There's only 4 teams that are basically out of it. So a lot of competition going on. The East is a lot softer. Obviously, the West is a real tight race other than Oklahoma City, who's just dominant. But yeah, I got 4 plays for you. I'm going to talk about a couple honorable mentions too, because I probably have like a total of 6 plays that I'm excited about, but there's a couple that I'm just like, it's not quite enough. Not quite on the same, excitement level as the 4 that I ended up showing here. Well, not here yet, but I'm about to show you. But let's talk about yesterday. Zion Williamson continues to just absolutely torch his lines. We took him over 34.5 PRA. He went for 47. That was absolutely sweat-free. Cam Thomas had me a little nervous here for a minute. Not going to lie. First quarter or so, and then he ended up popping off. Took him over 20.5 points, rebounds, and what did we say? He did that in like 14 straight games in those particular matchups. I don't know if it was like bottom 10 for rebounds allowed or something like that, but we liked what we were seeing. We took it over, and he continues his streak. He's now 15 straight. Went for 25. Brook Lopez, 30.5 fantasy score, and he just continued to deliver for us. Went for 38.1. Bull. Let's talk about it, because he came out and he played like 9 minutes, missed a few threes, missed a few buckets, grabbed a rebound, and did something to upset Mike Budenholzer. I don't know if it was maybe it's like, because we were joking in the Discord. I was saying like someone was actually reaching out to Prizepicks trying to get a reboot, and I was like, tell him he had a stomach ache. We don't know. I don't know if it was like Mike Budenholzer was under a lot of pressure, really feeling it. Like he's kind of in the hot seat right now. But yeah, he took him out of the game, and he did not return. So you got to give your props to Prizepicks here for giving us this reboot, because we don't know that there was like any particular reason other than he just didn't feel like he was going to help them win. And everyone talks so much trash about Prizepicks, and I don't have a deal with them. They won't return my emails. I'm not saying this because I have a partnership with them. I'm just saying, like, it is a good platform, and every now and again they give us a reboot in a really cool way. So thank you, Prizepicks, for rebooting this. Gave us the sweep because we had the one reboot here. But yeah, overall, not a bad night. I was already sort of preparing like what I was gonna how I was going to feel when I got on the video. If Bull didn't hit, we were going to talk about it. I mean, there was an obvious reason. He got taken out of the game and didn't return, so you can't predict that. But yeah, ended up getting the sweep with the other 3. So let's talk about today's plays. So yeah, I'm going 1 unit flex, and then I went 625 just because I had like an off number. So it's basically 1 unit. I just threw that extra $1.25 on here. Because I like even numbers. So here's what I'm going with. We're going to go Toumani Camara, forward for the Portland Trailblazers versus Boston, over his 24.5 fantasy score. We're going to go Tim Hardaway. I got 2 Pistons here in this lineup. Tim Hardaway over 1.5 assists. And then Ausar Thompson, I like him over his 29 fantasy score. And then we're going to go Chet Holmgren, 38 fantasy score. It's steep, but I feel really good about it. Didn't even mean to go 3 fantasy scores today, but you know how I like that defensive upside. So let's get into it. If you guys don't mind, you know what I'm going to say. You could show me a little bit of love with some likes and comments. Help me with the algorithm. I really appreciate it. I was shocked a couple days ago. You guys got me to 1,000 subs, and I'm at 1,100 already. Like, you guys are helping me out so much, and I really appreciate it. You're helping me continue on my path to maybe someday do this full time. It's awesome. Just had a baby, so the support, you have no idea how grateful I am. So thank you very much. So let's talk about Toumani. So I had his blocks and steals here. Let's just look at it for a minute. I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, he didn't have any in this last game against Philly, but I mean, like 8 out of his last 10 games, he's had at least 2 blocks and steals. And a lot of these, what do we have? 1, 2, 7 of those, he had 3 or more. So that's what we're looking for when we're taking fantasy score. I know it's Boston, but the Blazers deserve a little bit of respect. Like they're also, right there with the Suns trying to get in the play-in. So I have a feeling the Blazers are going to make it into the play-in. And if they get into the playoffs, I just feel like people are sleeping on them. Actually, let's start with the injury report since I had it pulled up. So Ayton is still out. Jeremy Grant, game time decision. Matisse Thybulle, bummer, right ankle sprain. He just got back and he's out. Robert Williams still out, and they're still playing good ball. Jaylen Brown, game time decision. Drew Holiday might make his return. Kristaps Porzingis, game time decision. Peyton Pritchard, Jason Tatum, Derek White. Is this just going to be one of those nights where they're going we're going to rest our guys a little bit tonight? It might be, because that's kind of a crazy amount of key players that are game time decisions. So we'll see who ends up playing. And we'll look at the over under real fast. So 224 over under. Boston favored by 9.5, playing in Boston. But I tell you, the Blazers have a lot more to play for tonight than the Celtics do. We already looked at his blocks and steals, looking solid. So in the head-to-head, he didn't beat his fantasy score in the head-to-head. But this is from last year, and he only played 24 minutes, and he hadn't really emerged and broke out. Like he has an identity now. He's a really solid defender, and he's pretty solid on offense too. But yeah, so he still had 1 block in that game. The matchup, let's take a look here. So overall, it's tough. Second in steals allowed, first in blocks allowed. We'll go over to the center position, and it's as tough as it gets, first and first. So we'll see. That's how much faith I have in Toumani Camara right now with his defense. Let's look at the fantasy score. All right, so 4 out of his last 5, he's got this done. And then against Philly, he still went for 23.3, even with no defense. Scoring anyways, no defensive scoring. Take a look at this note from Outlier. He's exceeded 24.5 fantasy score in 7 of his last 8 games. He's averaging 33.3 fantasy score right now, 88% hit rate over his last 8 games. In these games, 35.4 minutes. So we're already getting 10 more minutes than the last time he played Boston on average. 58% from the field, 5.5 made buckets a game, 49% from beyond the arc, 2 made threes per game. Not getting to the line that often, but taking care of business when he gets there. 87% hit rate from the free throw line, averaging just 2 made, but not really getting in foul trouble. This one game against Washington, he fouled out, but other than that, he's kind of staying in that middle ground. Anytime they're starting to knock on the door of 4, that's when I get a little bit nervous, but he's just at 3.3 over these last 8 games, so not really concerned. Let's look at the PRA matchup, and then we'll keep it moving here. I got a crazy storm coming through my area right now, so I got to wrap this up before I lose power. Wait a minute, why did I go to... Why was I on the center? So actually, we'll go back and look at the blocks and steals. I accidentally clicked center instead of power forward. So for PRA, 16th in points allowed, 27th in rebounds allowed, 16th in assists allowed. So he actually has a relatively soft matchup to the power forward position, although it is Boston, middle of the road on points, middle of the road on assists, and then very soft on rebounds allowed to power forwards. Let's go back and look at those blocks and steals. So it is softer, 11th in steals allowed, 3rd in blocks allowed. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this. This is a nice low line for fantasy score, just 24.5. I want that defensive upside because once again, his blocks and steals over the last 10, he's just been an awesome defender. He's beat this fantasy score 8 out of his last 10 games. And then these other 2 games, he was right there. One more block or steal in either of these games and it would have cashed both of them. He'd be sitting at 10 straight. Let's look at the 2024 season real quick before we wrap up. So 65% hit rate without tweaking anything. 39 out of 60 games, he's cleared this. We already know there was a couple of close calls in there. So it could be even better than that. And let's look at his away games. And he's pretty consistent, still a 61% hit rate on the road. So on the road, it's not looking bad at all. So that is the fantasy score. All right, let's check daily grind, and then I'm going to try to pick up the pace here a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Colin Gillespie. I don't know if you guys watched that Suns game last night. That was an awesome comeback, and it was because of our young guy Colin came in and sparked the fire, and what an awesome performance. He better get more minutes. I'm going to be really upset if he doesn't. So Toumani, they like his points over. They have it at a 52.28% odds at the over -128. They like his points assists. They like his rebounds assists. They're not feeling the full PRA. They don't have the fantasy score on here. It'll probably be up a little bit later. And they don't have the blocks and steals. So if you don't want to take the fantasy score, they do like his points as the top over 10.5. And if he's playing against a bunch of backups, maybe he will crush that. You never know. They definitely want this win. So I don't think that we're going to see anybody's minutes restricted on the side of Portland, even if they go up by a lot. Yeah, points, assists, and rebounds and assists are what Daily Grind is finding value in. They don't like the points, rebounds, and they don't like the rebounds at 6. So go with your gut. Let's start getting it going here. So I won't take long on Tim Hardaway because, this is just a very low line, 1.5 assists. He doesn't assist the ball that much, but he's getting at least 2 in like a ton of games. So this is kind of a no-brainer. He's 9 straight games. The one he missed, 1 more assist would have cashed him. Let's take a look here at this note. He's exceeded 1.5 assists in 11 straight games on the road. So on top of 9 straight games, also 11 straight on the road. So it's at least 2 couple games where he went for 3. We only need 2 tonight. And it doesn't matter what his minutes are. You know, he's averaging 28.8 over this stretch on the road, but you can see even only getting 18 minutes over here against Chicago, he went for 3 assists. So this is just one of those that is, I just can't pass it up. And you know, I'm not even going to say that, like, what if this doesn't hit? I really feel like it's going to hit. Let's look at the 2024 season. This feels like, so 55% hit rate, 32 out of 58 games, and a little bit spotty here at the beginning of the season or first half of the season. As you can see on this back half, 16 out of 20 games. So 80% hit rate over his last 20 games. And again, 3 of those, 1 more assist would have cashed it. So we could easily be 19 of 20 right now. So it's just a really low line that I'm going to take advantage of. Let's look at the head-to-head. All right, so 50% hit rate in his total career against the Clippers. They're also coming off of a back-to-back in which they had a terrible, situation where the Suns came back when the Suns were down by 23 and then brought it back like in the fourth quarter pretty much. But yeah, last time he matched up against them, he cashed it, went for 2. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it. The matchup is tough, 6th in assists allowed, and then overall 7th in assists allowed. So it is going to be tough, but he seems to be just crushing this regardless. And I don't know why this line isn't higher yet, but I'm happy it's not a goblin. So we're going to take advantage here. All right. Let's see what Daily Grind thinks. They like his points assists over. If you wanted to attach the points there, they like that as the best play, 11.5. They have it at a 52.55% odds hit the over -129. They do like the assists over. They have it just barely favored to the over, 50.48% odds at the over -122. They like his points rebounds. They're not feeling the full PRA. And that's because the points rebounds are at 12.5. So 14.5 means you're not getting that 1.5 assist line. They're bumping it up 2. So that's why it's saying, hey, we don't like this. All right, let's keep it rolling. Okay, so Ausar Thompson, I've got it already on the blocks and steals because that's what I'm looking at when I'm taking fantasy score. This is the head-to-head. Last time he played them, 2 blocks, 4 steals. That is 18 fantasy points right there. I'm not saying he's just going to do that again, but this was just on February 24th. This wasn't long ago. The matchup overall, 23rd in steals allowed, 6th in blocks allowed. And then if we go to the small forward position, 28th in steals allowed, 4th in blocks allowed, and we saw he totally capitalized. And let's look at some of his other most recent. Look at this. 4 out of his last 5 games, he's had at least 4. That's 24 that's 12. Yeah, sorry, I need more coffee. So yeah, this 4 is 12 fantasy points. And then we've got 15 fantasy, 15 fantasy, 18 fantasy. And that was that game against the Clippers. That was within his last 5. So yeah, that's why we're taking the fantasy score. Let's see what that looks like when we bump over to the fantasy score. Yeah, that turned into 36, 29, 39. Still almost cashed this one that he missed. And then 43 against Utah. Yeah, this is kind of like a no-brainer to me. 7 out of his last 10, and then he's just knocking on the door here in these other games. Yeah, that game against the Clippers where he was stacking up the defense, he went for 36. He's averaging 24.7 minutes over this 10-game stretch, 69% from the field, 8.7 attempts. Literally not shooting threes, 0 attempts on the season, and then 1.3 made free throws. That might help us get over the mark a little bit. It's not going to do much. Let's look at the injury report. Tobias Harris is out. Jaden Ivey still out, obviously. Isaiah Stewart, game time decision. So Tobias Harris being out actually helps both of these plays, Ausar Thompson, and it helps the Tim Hardaway assists. So maybe both these guys will get a little bit of extra run while he's out. We have Derek Jones Jr. potentially making his return with the right groin strain. Kawhi Leonard out tonight, rest. Okay. Norman Powell out still. Ben Simmons, game time decision. Interesting. Okay. That makes me kind of want to go look at some Clippers if Kawhi is out. And Norman Powell still out, but yeah, we're feeling good about this. I love when we can take advantage of the fantasy score options here. Let's see what Daily Grind thinks. They don't seem to be having fantasy score up yet, but let's see. So they think his turnovers are good to go over 1.5. So that actually goes against our fantasy score. That would, if he goes for 2, that's actually minus 2 points. So you got to keep that in mind. But the rebounds and assists are another over they really like, 52.57% odds to hit the over, minus 130. Points, rebounds, they like over. Bro, I hate autocorrect. Auto corrects me like 10 minutes later. Give me back to Ausar Thompson here. Okay. All right, where were we? They like his first quarter points over 3.5. Or no, they don't. They've actually, it's showing the over, but it's 49%, so they're not feeling that. So yeah, they don't like the PRA. The overs, if you don't take the fantasy score, they just like the points, rebounds at 18.5 and the rebounds and assists at 9. All right, let's keep rolling. I believe I'm on my last play here. So Chet. All right. This did make me a little nervous, but as I keep looking into it, I'm like, I got to take this play. So this is the head-to-head. Last time he played them, he went for 49.2 fantasy score. Let's see the last 5. And this is part of the reason it makes me a little nervous, or it was making me a little nervous, but this matchup really matters. He still cleared it against Houston, who's really tough, 39.7. And let's see if the minutes correlate with some of these. Yeah, so yeah, it actually absolutely correlates. So he plays against Brooklyn. He goes for 63 fantasy score on 32 minutes. This game that he missed against Atlanta, he went for 15.3 on 14.8 minutes. Then he gets back up to 30 minutes and he's at 39. Back here, 27 and he's at 33, 27, 36. So this is absolutely correlating with his minutes here. Over this 5-game stretch, 51% from the field, 11.4 attempts, 5.8 made buckets, and then 32% from beyond the arc. We know he's actually a pretty solid 3-point shooter. He's just like a rhythm guy, so he'll get hot and cold. But 1.2 made threes a game. Not necessarily something he needs to do, but I know that's something they'd like to open up more now that they've got Isaiah Hartenstein. But here's what we're really looking at here. We talk about defense. Chet is a beast, bro. Yeah, so that game against Houston, 3 blocks, 2 steals. Nothing against Atlanta, but we know he only played 14 minutes, so not a whole lot of time to get something going. And then against Brooklyn, when he had more time, 2 steals, 3 blocks. And then these 2 27-minute games, 3 blocks, 3 blocks. It's very impressive. Now look at this matchup. 23rd in steals allowed, 27th in blocks allowed. So he's got a very soft matchup. We go over to the center position, and it's still pretty soft. 17th in steals allowed, 21st in blocks allowed. So that's basically what we're looking at here. Let's look at this matchup. And we'll check the 4 too, in case they have Hartenstein out there too. But PRA, 17th in points allowed, 8th in rebounds allowed, 3rd in assists allowed. If we go over to the power forward position, opens up a little bit for assists, pretty similar for points and rebounds. Now I want to see that matchup for blocks and steals. So yeah, also soft, very, very similar between the center position and the power forward position. So if he plays the 4 or the 5, he's got a soft matchup for blocks and man, he's very capable. You can see even the history here. Before they had Hartenstein, he goes for 7 blocks in that game in 2023 and a steal. And then let's see what his minutes were. So yeah, in just under 25 minutes, he had 7 blocks and a steal in this game back here. 21.6 minutes, 2 blocks, and then 31.6, 3 blocks and a steal. So I'm loving this play. Let's see the over-under for this game real quick. I'll check the Detroit one too. Actually, Detroit's right here, so we'll talk about it. 219.5 for the Detroit game. 4.5 point spread favoring Detroit, playing in Los Angeles. And then the Thunder are only favored by 8 in this. Kind of surprising. 250.5 over-under. And Thunder favored by 8 playing in Memphis. And we love that because we don't want this to be just an absolute blowout where they rest the starters. Chet should get his minutes. He's not on the injury report. Let's see. Alex Caruso out. Isaiah Joe game time decision. And then it's pretty good from there. Now we've got John Morant game time decision. Scottie Pippen Jr. game time decision. And Jaren Jackson is out tonight. That makes me like this play even more. Okay, Santi Aldama game time decision. All right, let's wrap this video up so you guys can go lock this in. I love this Chet play. All right, they love his PRA. They've got the PRA just smashed over. 54.18% odds hit the over -139. Now they're not showing fantasy score. I bet you they would love that too. They like his points over. They think he's going to turn the ball over more than 1.5 times. They love his blocks and steals over 3.5. I mean, it's not as juiced as that PRA up there. That's going to get bumped soon if it's at 54%. But blocks and steals over 3.5, they have it favored to go over. So if he goes for 4, that's 12 fantasy points right there. So they love his PRA over, and they think that he's going to get at least 12 fantasy points on defense. So do the math. The fantasy score looks good. 51.17% odds hit the over on these blocks and steals, -126. Everybody's got it favored over. This is going to be a beautiful thing to watch tonight. I hope. I don't want to overhype it, but if we got no Jaren Jackson and we got Chet getting in there to just swat everything, it's going to be awesome. So let's hope that it pays off. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, you can get this DFS optimizer. It's awesome. You get 25% off. Use code BACKDOOR over at dgfantasy.com, and they'll let you lock that in for as long as you want. You can use it for all the different sports you can think of, all the different platforms you can think of. I keep it on Prizepicks. That's the main one I'm playing right now. But you can switch it to Underdog, and they'll show you everything that's sticking out on Underdog, Parlay Play, any of these better. So yeah, 25% off. Use code BACKDOOR. And then Outlier. This is my favorite app just because I love looking at all the details, all the stats. And they cover matchups, injury reports, insights. So you guys see how I use this to break down and I learn my narrative for these plays with Outlier, and then I tell you guys the plays and show you, Outlier is kind of like the pictures to the book we're reading, yeah, check it out for free. Sign up through the link below for Outlier, and they're going to give you a week just to test it out. If you do it, I really recommend get to know what all these buttons do, get to know how to use these settings. It's not really difficult. Just open up, the tab, read what it's saying, games with player, games without player, minutes dial. You can adjust minutes. So you can bump this up, say, okay, what is Chet doing when he's getting over 30 minutes? Okay, he only did that once in that head-to-head, and he went for 3 blocks and a steal. So this minutes dial is awesome. So they have all sorts of cool stuff. I've been talking with them. They've got new stuff they're going to be adding to this as well. Stuff they're very excited about that I don't know about yet, but I can't wait to learn about it. So yeah, try it out for free. Sign up through the link below. And that's going to do it, guys. There's those 4 plays. Oh, yeah. So the plays, the honorable mentions, I was looking at Donovan Mitchell over 5 assists. He's gone over 4.5 in a ridiculous amount of games. So that one I decided not to feature in the video, but Donovan Mitchell, last I checked, it was at 5 assists. A lot of platforms have it at 5.5, so I like the 5. Stronger chance of a push because it opened at 4.5, and 4.5 looked like money. Also, Darius Garland rebounds and assists. The over looked good. And then there was one more. I can't remember right now. I was going to tell you guys, I'm actually off of Brook Lopez tonight because he could absolutely go out there and crush again. But last time they played, we took him over 30.5 fantasy score. He barely got it right at the end. And now we've got no Kyrie Irving. I just think I'm curious what the over-under is going to be for this game. 222, Bucks favored by 10. They're just so beat up. Everyone knows the Mavericks are kind of shutting things down. They're going to try to go get Cooper Flag if they can. So I just think that they could end up stomping the Mavericks tonight. And I mean, last time, like we said, they stomped them last time, and he barely hit it. He, almost didn't hit it because the blowout. So I think that 10 is actually generous. I think that the Bucks should be able to absolutely control this game. So I decided I'm gonna hold off on taking Brook Lopez today. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Don't forget to like the video, drop me a comment. I didn't end up doing it last night, but if you subscribe, go, have your notifications on. I'm going to try to drop another play for our streak slip. We have an active streak slip right now through Underdog, and I'm going to look for that next play and try to post it to the community section. So, and I'm also kind of feeling in the mood for a demon play. So if I end up making a demon slip, like just a crazy YOLO, look for like a 300X, flex, I'll post that to the community section too. So make sure you're subscribed. Appreciate you guys so much. I'll catch you in the next one.